Duelists are the king of solo carrying in Marvel Rivals. At least with good positioning, awareness, and mechanics, they can be. And this is my resource to developing all three. I'm NotoriousDuB, currently Celestial 1 and rank 14 on Hela, and this is my next iteration of the season of the solo carry series. Watch the video all the way through to juice my algorithm, drop a W in the comments, and like and subscribe if you want more how to solo carry content. Let's roll. Here's my key takeaway for this video, the one tip to increase your win rate if you listen to nothing else here. Just focus the enemy carry. If the other team has a 10-1 Spider-Man carrying the game, why on earth are you ever shooting at anyone else? It's just not really worth it. The gauntlet has already been thrown down. Stop crossing your fingers and hoping that someone else deals with it. If you think I'm not talking to you, I am. And that goes for everyone on your team. If someone is carrying the other team, he's public enemy number 1. We're playing pubs. You're not in a pro tournament. Shut down the guy that's doing well. It's simple as that. And you're gonna win games. Even if you're sacrificing your personal stat sheet or putting yourself in a situation where you think your team comp's not very good anymore, just shut down that one guy. I guarantee the team is gonna crumble more often than not. This is why I say Hela's the best solo carry in the game. She plugs into any comp just fine and works pretty well against any comp that they can put together. She can also shut down pretty much anyone single-handedly with a little bit of awareness and some good shots if you're landing those. But Star-Lord is great at dealing with and chasing around divers. Punisher shuts down carrying tanks pretty well, and Psylocke drops long-range pokers decently. Even if you're swapping to a character that doesn't exactly mesh with your team, it's fine. It's a pub. If there's someone showing out, just focus on shutting them down and figure out the rest after that if it's still not enough. Utility is the name of the game when solo carrying, and not for the reason you think. Listen, anything below Grandmaster is kind of a cheese grater. You're coin flipping, just running and grinding into each other and seeing who comes out on top. That sounded a little weird. Your team doesn't know how to play around someone playing an off angle, and your teammates don't really know how to follow up properly. And the key to doing it yourself is battling through and tracking the utility that's going to make it harder for you to deal with the enemies. For example, if you hit a Hela hard enough, she's gonna fly away. And you need to set that mental timer in your head, 12 seconds, to overpressure the Hela and then force a kill off of that. And that goes for Cloaks and Vulnerability, Namor Bubble, Magneto Bubble, Psylocke Dash, anything that's gonna stop you from getting a kill initially, that needs to go on a timer, because that's the amount of time you have to kill that person next. There are an infinite amount of abilities to track, so don't let me overwhelm you thinking you have to track all of them. To get started, just hit tab whenever you get into the game, look at the scoreboard, and pick one person on the enemy team who you're going to focus and track the abilities of. And hard focus them, and the healers, obviously, throughout the entire game. Constantly make guesses for how much charge you expect the enemy healers to have and how much time they have left on their cooldown abilities that's going to stop you from getting the kills on them. Speaking about healers specifically, as they get closer and closer to 100%, they become more and more public enemy number 1. The only thing better than killing a Luna is killing a Luna that's about to get her ult up. The reason is, it's going to win you the fight because both of your supports are going to have their ults up, and most likely, it's going to stagger the enemy team's ult timings because the other healer is probably going to dump theirs. That's going to set them on a stagger, and it's going to coast you through a long portion of the push. And on top of that, you want to keep your picked out target in your peripheral while you're tracking these healer ult charges. If an escape ability is used, you know, even if you're not actively focusing on that person, that target in your peripheral has an escape ability down and that hero is in danger. And if your escape is up, it's now a free engagement to take. If it goes well, you drop the hero. If it goes bad, you can use your escape ability, Hela's Fly, to just fly away. Obviously, it's not perfect. Nothing is going to be 100%, but that is a high expected value engagement, and that's what you're looking for. That's what solo carrying is all about. Obviously, if you're just way better, you can out-aim the enemy team until you get to your right rank, but optimizing all of the little small advantages that come up is going to make way more of an impact as you get higher and higher. And the easy ways to get started on this is to, 1, force engagement on enemies that have their escape on cooldown while yours is up, and overextend a little bit farther for kills on supports whose ult is almost charged to get super high impact kills more often, even if you're risking a little bit more for it. Here's something I need to talk about because trading is an epidemic in Marvel Rivals. Stop putting the game in your teammates' hands. You're the one looking up this video, so you want to carry the game. So why are you getting a kill, dying, and then justifying it saying, well, I got mine? If you trade 1 for 1, you've now put your team back at square one. You can't expect to win after that. It's a coin flip. But by not dying, you can have infinite value. You're the one watching this video, so you're the one that wants to do better, which means your life, arguably, is worth much more than one person trade. Besides maybe a support, that's probably worth it as long as it's a 1-to-1 100% of the time. But even then, you can probably get more value than just that. have an escape path in mind. Keep your sight lines open to your healers active, and stop over-aggressing for a slightly higher chance of getting a kill with a much higher chance of dying. It's a numbers game. Pick a valuable spot, hold it down, and get your shots off. The best ability is availability, and if you're dead, you're not available. Everyone associates Duelists with being the carry. Not saying they always do. Trust me, I have the same matchmaking as you. But there are actually a few keys to be able to carry more and more consistently. And a major mistake I see is stacking. Everyone complains about the Duelist that kind of plays out on their own in nowhere. But sitting on top of your team can be just a troll a lot of times. To oversimplify it and get my point across, think of it this way. Is it easier for you to swap targets whenever your targets are 5 foot apart or 30 foot apart? Obviously 5 foot apart. So you can then compound that over every other factor that takes place. The farther away they have to aim towards you, the harder it is for them to keep track of your team. Different angles also create different areas of opportunity, and teams that play together but are physically farther apart can hold down even more power angles and be more difficult for the other team to force you out of the areas they don't want you in because you have stronger angles to hold and support those. And by playing different spots, you can kind of overwatch. You're able to actually turn and track the Black Panther that's diving your backline, instead of just being the third person that he's diving instead of the 2 healers. But I get that it's not always that simple. Let me break it down a little further. Every character wants to play in different spots. Like Namor, he's a great Overwatch character. He can go deep flank or play behind his supports even to keep them safe if they're playing super heavy dive. Hela likes more forward power angles that still have sightlines over healers, and Star-Lord likes to take off angles that are more pushed up towards his tank's positions. But to do this, you kind of have to get a feel of the flow of the game. But simply put, and long story short, stop standing on top of your backline. Just play a different angle that allows you to see them. You'll still have a lot of impact, and you'll be able to do even more for the rest of your team. I honestly believe the biggest thing that separates Eternity, Celestial, Grandmaster, and Diamond Duelists is positioning. Obviously, aim and awareness goes up as you get higher and higher as well, but positioning is the universal that has to be good no matter what character you play. So here's how to make it easy. Good positioning is positions that utilize your strengths, create opportunities for your team, and provide counterplays against your threats. That last one's not something people think of a lot. If you're a backline pressurer, you want to take hold of power angles that gives access to the enemy team's backlines. Just because you're playing Black Panther doesn't mean you have to be behind the enemy team. You can pick up free kills on enemies that are looking to take over that space that I consider a power angle. By sitting on a high value spot, think of that first little house on the left side of Tokyo Spider Islands with a little bridge. Instead of playing on top of it like a lot of people do, or playing behind the enemy team, holding down the inside of the building, using your third person point of view to peek out the little window, if anyone wants to get shots off on your backline by coming through that little corridor, they're a free kill for face checking you. And that's positioning to play to your strengths. By waiting on your opportunity there, just one non-perfect example, you open yourself up to getting kills on important members of the enemy team, instead of just random people that fall out of position from time to time. If you're a peeler, you want to find some sort of high ground that keeps your healers in your line of sight, and if you're a tank buster, you want high ground or high value areas that have good sightlines towards the enemy tanks and all of their angles that they're going to retreat to. That's one thing that a lot of people don't think about. You want to be able to shoot them along their entire retreat path, and you want to combine that strength-based positioning to being able to play around your threats, like hugging buildings, that way you can have a retreat path from a Magneto ult that pops out, accessible height that kind of lets you dodge divers that go into your area, corners to jiggle and dodge pokers, long range pokers. The key to positioning is provide counterplay for your weaknesses and optimize your strengths. You want to find areas that can do both of those for you at the same time. If you find yourself stuck in a game where bodies just aren't dropping, I can't speak enough about generating opportunities as a duelist. It's probably not something you're doing well. A lot of times, just doing damage isn't enough to get a kill. This is something that Punishers and Moon Knights fall into a lot, because healers really can just out-heal everything that you throw at their tanks. That means it takes a little bit extra to actually make the people fall. And that little bit extra is either a pick or an overcommitment. I talk a lot about tanks attempting to force out support ults. That's the highest value play in the game. Duelists also have that job too. As an assassin like Hela, one of the best times to hit the enemy team's backline is whenever they have their ults off cooldown. The only thing better than killing a Luna Snow, like I talked about earlier, is killing a Luna Snow whose ult is up. And even if you don't get the kill, forcing out that ult is a game winner as well. You can also generate opportunities by baiting the enemy team into dangerous positions. Admittedly, this is a little bit of your tank and support's job because they want to eliminate sightlines from the enemy team's duelists That way the enemy team's duelist has to walk a little bit farther out of the cover to keep their uptime high, which puts them into danger spots, but you can do it too. Take it into your own hands. Jiggle peeking, that's something you see pros do a lot. Just peek out, take a little pot shot. You want to hit and then remove their sideline. It's annoying, but it also forces the enemy duelist to walk out a little bit more and a little bit more, or just go into a passive state. Because those little 2 steps from cover that Punisher takes to get those last few shots on you could be the death of him. Admittedly, generating opportunities is nuanced and it's difficult, so let's just dial it back and keep it easy. The tangible way to do it is just hit whoever your team's already hitting. Optimizing it down, I would have you hitting the same target as your divers, because while divers are really strong, most of the time their combo is literally the exact amount they need to snag a kill, which leaves absolutely zero room for misplays or any healing coming in onto their target. But one tickle from a Hela auto or a couple Punisher shots is enough to make that kill absolutely free. But the second best is whoever's doing the most damage on your team, just focus their target. It's not that complicated. If you can, at the time of shooting, hit a squishy healer, just hit whoever your team's already hitting. Don't just mindlessly hit the tank. Doing your part to push that hero over the edge to actually fall is going to bait out enemy support utility, and it's kind of just the key to winning games. If they have a lapse in judgment, they're going to let their tanks fall. So be the person that fills the gaps and team targets. Don't make your team have to think about hitting the same target as you. You be the person that hits the same target as your team. So you're the one that wants to get better. And if you made it this far, as always, you're a real one. If you want more season of the solo carry, drop a W in the comments, subscribe, and like the video so I know you guys are enjoying this series. Follow me on Twitch, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace out.